Hi guys, Sheena here from Atlas Agency Launch Lab and Atlas Online Solutions here. Thank you very much to John Nelson for giving me the privilege of going live inside of his group this week. If you are here watching the replay or you're watching the live stream, drop in, say hi. I would really, really, really love to see you guys. I asked you all a question earlier on this week, and the question really, it provoked a lot of conversation on my personal page. So go there, have a look, see what other people are saying about this. But the question was, how much money do you need to make to be rich? And this is a question that my 10-year-old asked me earlier on this week. And it really, really had me thinking. And I'm quite proud of my answer. But reading other people's answers, it's funny. It's really, really funny how we see wealth these days. Some people came out with like a monetary number, right? Other people like none. You don't need any money. I kind of fell a little bit into the middle. So for those of you who are interested, my answer was the fact that most people are poor because they spend too much time and energy either thinking about or trying to make money, or they only have money. When it comes to a financial number, I said that to my 10-year-old, I said that you need to be making enough to pay all your outgoing expenses, plus have 10% to put away at the end of every single month. But you have to be able to do that while ensuring that the time you spent making money, getting money, is either equal to or less than the time that you get to spend on other activities. So that was my answer for my 10-year-old, and that's kind of how I live my life. And I guess really the reason I asked this question, the reason that I'm sitting here giving you guys my answer today, is because all of us here are interested in being an online entrepreneur or are an online entrepreneur. And today I'm here to give you the top 5 mistakes that I've seen that online entrepreneurs make when they're starting out so that you can avoid them. But the reason most of us get into the space isn't just, to be altruistic, to help people. Like, yes, most of us, that's our driving force here. But the other part of it is to be financially free, right? To be financially free so that you're not spending hours and hours working for somebody else, building their business, ignoring your business, neglecting what truly makes us rich. And what truly makes us rich is time with our families. And John Nelson very, very graciously allowed me the use of his group this week. And I'm really hoping that he's spending that time to enrich his life, doing things away from work. So John, if you're here, say hi. Let us know a couple of things that you're going to be doing since you're reclaiming some of your time by sharing out your group here. And for the rest of you, tell me why you got into this space. Like, there's a culture out there that you need to know your why. You need to express your why, and you need to have a good story and transformation and everything else. And that's not why I'm asking. The reason I'm asking is because if we understand why we got into this space, then we're going to understand the pitfalls that are most important to us. So I've got some of the 5 top 10 mistakes that I've seen entrepreneurs make. The reason I know this is I run an online business, Atlas Online Solutions. I have now turned that into a coaching business as well as an agency. So I run multiple online businesses. I've made these mistakes. You guys don't have to. And I work with online entrepreneurs. So I work with agency owners to get their business up and running. I work with coaches who come to me and say, hey, give me a hand. The world is a confusing place. And I get to dive into the muck with them and figure out what works best for them. And through that, I've learned through their stories, my stories, and everybody else's stories that I've had the privilege of interacting with, what are the top 5 mistakes we're making? And most of these mistakes I made. I made these mistakes, and I made them, and I'm sharing with you so you don't have to make them. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? First mistake that I see is not understanding your branding and your messaging. I don't mean not understanding the importance of having a logo or a color or anything else. I mean like your entire brand. Okay. This means having done competitor research, right? Competitor research is so important for so many things. Like you need to know what their message is. You need to know what's their onboarding process. You need to know what the frustrations are of their current customers and their current clients and their past clients. It's going to help you not replicate their mistakes. It's going to help you stand out. It's going to help you figure out what level of pricing and quality is expected in your space. It's going to help you understand your avatar's frustrations and how you can best attract them. All right. Another part of branding is voice. Okay. So when you do your competitors research, you're going to see the beautiful websites that are pink with motivational things put all over their social media and things like that. You're going to see the other one who is really, really down to earth in his wording, right? Like he is like no BS kind of masculine energy out there. You're going to see the more approachable type, right? Who is talking to you about the fact that they're drinking mushroom coffee, or, hey, I went on the hike this weekend, and while I was hiking, I thought of this. So you're going to see everybody else's brand. Okay. What's your brand? What's your brand's voice? And I don't just mean your messaging, like what you say. What's your voice? Then from there, what's your story? It is incredibly important in the online entrepreneur space to be authentic, to be yourself. Agencies, let's take agencies for example. Anybody looking for SEO, they've got 100,000 options at the click of a button. How do they know who to choose? One of it is going to be the story. All right. If you're here as a coach, right? Let's say you're a relationship coach. People need to know why relationship coaching is important to you. People need to know that if you're an agency. People need to know that if you are selling a product online, like an e-commerce product. People need to know who and why, because it's going to make them trust you and your service so much more. Then the other part of that is that people don't buy things. People buy your personality. People buy your point of view. People buy you, especially in the online space. They really, really, really do. Think about it. You've got 4 coffee shops around you, 4 different bakeries. What's the one that you go to regularly and why? Yes, you like the service, but you like the atmosphere. You like the woman who remembers your name every single morning, okay? People buy you, and people buy transformation over dreams. So if you have personally connected with what it is that you are selling online, then it will have touched your life in some way, right? It will be important to you, most of us anyway. If it's not, then let's go on a call. But most of the time it's touched us in some way. And it doesn't necessarily need to be transformational, but it does need to be personal. Because yes, we're talking to pain points. Yes, we're selling a dream. But we are inviting people into our story so that they can then experience themselves, that story, with them as the hero. Okay. Now your image comes into this a lot. Okay. Are you a person who's out there in sweatpants and a beanie and you hike for fun and you'd rather spend time with your dog and a couple of friends than go out to a fancy restaurant? Or, who are you? How does that translate to your landing page, your website, your social media content, your outreach message, your thumbnails? Like, your branding, your messaging is so much more encompassing than the words that you put in a bio on a website. Okay. And then company culture. Company culture is a very important part of branding. Because the minute you start getting big, and we're going to talk about this very, very soon, even if you're not big yet, you are going to have a culture inside of your business. Even if you are a solo entrepreneur, is that how you say it? Even if it's just you, you're a one-man band, the energy that you project through your screen when you are talking to your clients, be that on a video call, be that on a recorded message, be that on an email, it's going to express your company culture. Okay. And then lastly, if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you sell, you're not going to get anywhere. All right. So that is one of the first mistakes I see people doing. It's not understanding your branding, not understanding your messaging. The first thing to do is reach out to somebody who's been through it before, like myself, and ask us, hey, what does branding entail? How can I figure it out? Most of us, we have a questionnaire somewhere, we have a short training on it somewhere, and we are most happy to help you with solidifying your branding because it's one of the most important cornerstones for any business, online or not, but online especially. All right, the next mistake that I see people making is not knowing your audience. All right. If you woke up and you're like, right, I'm going to run a business, but you don't sit there and think, why is my business important to these people in a deep way, like in a really personal way, then you're not going to reach those people anywhere near effectively. It's going to be like throwing mud at a wall and hoping it stick. Okay. Your audience has dreams, and they aren't just freedom. Okay. They aren't just to be stress-free. They aren't just to have the perfect relationship. You've got to go deeper than that. You really, really do. Is it they want the freedom to see their granddaughter score that softball goal and watch that smile that like lights up her face, and just that joy that she is really just radiating to the entire world in that moment? Is it to be able to sit next to their partner and be comfortable in silence and safe and secure and all those things that you get inside of a relationship? Like, what is it that your product is doing, and why do they want it on a super deep, granular level? All right. When you figure that out, you're going to figure out the pain that you're solving, the fear that's behind that pain. You're going to know their goals, and you're going to know their uniqueness. All right. I'm not talking about niching down. Yes, people talk about niching down all the time in the online space and the coaching space and the e-commerce. Everybody talks about it. You know, there's a saying out there, riches are in the niches. I'm not saying that's not true, but you don't have to be that linear. Okay. Your niche doesn't have to be tiny. It does have to be deep. All right. There does have to be a well of people that you can draw into what you're doing if you're going to scale at all. But it needs to be unique. Okay. It needs to be, you need to be able to connect with them. And is that their specific pain? Is that their specific goals? Is it their specific personality type that resonates with your voice and your brand? All right. You need to know your audience that way. And once you know that, you're going to understand the reality. Like, what is their reality? What are they living in right now? Because if you know that, you can meet them where they're at. You can meet them where they're at in your outreach. You can meet them where you're at in your lead magnets. You can meet them where they're at in your sales calls, in your onboarding calls, in forming your service. Meet them where they're at. Know the reality. Know it. Empathize with it. Really, really take it to heart and form your entire business around it. Okay. When you do that, you're going to be adjusting your language. You're going to adjust your language to talk to them. You're going to adjust your language to attract them. You're going to adjust your language. Okay, for example, language. One example of language. Let's say you are a marketer, okay? If your message is all about ROI and KPIs and these things that we know what they are, right? We use them all the time, every time. And yeah, they're a little mainstream, but not everybody knows what they are. All right? So don't use that language. Talk to the person before they come through your transformational program. Okay? Are you a dating coach? Are you? If you are, you could be talking about things like mindset. All right? You could be talking about things like self-worth. These are words that we know, right? They exist. But do we know what your definition of them? Do we know what your action steps for them are? Because we don't. So talk to the person before they've gone through your transformational program. All right. And then lastly, the last most important thing, I think, one of the most important things, but the most important thing about knowing your audience is now you know where they hang out. You can't reach them if you don't know where they hang out. Are they surfers? All right. Do they hang out on Instagram? Are they more professional? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they moms? Are they hanging out on Facebook? Are they on YouTube? Because they're a much younger crowd. You don't know where to hang out. And once you know that, you know where to reach them. All right. So that is the first two things. And these two things are going to shape your message. You're going to know exactly which goal to give them, exactly which problem to solve, and exactly what language to use to attract them, to keep them interested throughout their entire buyer's journey, sell them, and then successfully fulfill. All right. Number 3, since we have covered those ones quite in depth, number 3 is not investing in organic outreach. Now, some people are going to kill me for saying this. No one's going to. There is, as a marketer, I've seen it time and time again. As a coach, I've seen it time and time again. As an online business owner who's constantly getting pitched, I've seen it time and time again. You don't put money in, you can't take money out. And most of the time, people are like, right, you need SEO. You need paid ads. You need the perfect funnel. All of these are paid options. I'm here to tell you, with my wealth of experience as a marketer, as a coach, and as somebody who works with online entrepreneurs all day, every day, if you don't have your content on brand and on message, you're not focusing or working on your PR, if you're not doing any Facebook outreach, LinkedIn outreach, shout outs, all of the things that create that healthy ecosystem, paid outreach is going to work a little bit, but it's not the answer. It's not going to be the answer. And you can put, I did it. When I started my coaching program, this is one of the mistakes I made. First thing I did was put $8,000 into building a funnel and a pipeline and paid ads. And then I put a lot of ad spend in on top of that. Like that's the first thing I did. And I knew it was wrong. I did. That's the worst part. I knew better, but I still did it. Organic outreach encompasses everything. It's reviews, it's testimonials, it's content, right? And I don't just mean like posting a pretty picture here and there, motivational quotes, and hey, come buy my stuff all over everywhere. I'm talking about educating people. I'm talking about entertaining people. I'm talking about having a healthy, engaged, thriving database before you go and say, buy my stuff. It doesn't take forever to fix. It really, really, really doesn't. One article, one podcast, one just live event where you're talking about your stuff, put strategically, cut like a week or 2 weeks worth of content. Facebook outreach. I mean, I have Facebook software here where you can be booking up to 10, 15 qualified appointments in less than a week. All right. LinkedIn is massive. And even if your audience hands out on Instagram, right? If you have an offer that in today's world doesn't even have to be very high, they're going to look for you. They are. And Google doesn't just show websites. Google shows LinkedIn. Google shows YouTube. Google shows, and people are searching you on Google. All right. They're not just going to Facebook and looking for your name. They're looking for you. Okay. So LinkedIn's incredibly important for all of that. And then shout outs. All right. I don't mean you have to go and pay an expensive $12,000 on a shout out that promises you the world. That, my friend, falls into paid advertising. I'm talking about organic research. When you did your avatar, when you worked out who your ideal customer was, who your audience is, did you think about who do they respect? What's important to them? And a shout out doesn't have to be that important person then saying, hey, this person's so cool, go check them out. You can do it a bit more subtly than that. It's not technically a shout out, but you can align what you're doing with them by sharing their content, agreeing or disagreeing with them. All right. You can do that, my friend, by going and finding their paid ads and audience hacking. If you don't know what some of these things are, reach out, I'll let you know. But there's so much you can do that is organic research, organic outreach. All right. Number 4. We're moving along here quickly. Good. Hopefully I'm not boring you all. Number 4 is trying to do everything yourself. Once again, guilty. I did this. I tried to do everything myself. And then when I did try to step away, I tried to step away from the wrong things. Okay. What are your strengths? You got into this to bring something to the world. You got into this because you are passionate and excited about something. What's your strengths around that? Is it the fulfillment? Is it the outreach and the lead generation? Is it the sales? What part of it is your strength? That's the part that you're going to be excited about. Because if it's not a strength, there's this, it's just a human nature tendency of ours to avoid it, right? We will procrastinate even just a little bit, right? We'll feel unsure. And so therefore we won't do as good a job. So once you know your strengths, is that appointment setting, sales, fulfillment, whatever it is, outsource the other part, right? So when I started in my agency, first thing I outsourced was sales. At the time, not just because it wasn't a strength of mine, I didn't have the confidence to do it because I was a mom to a very, very young child. It did not make sense for me to be the front person in my agency. So I outsourced that. All right. And then as my child got a little older and I was able to move into that role because I love talking to people and interacting with people, then I went straight to outsource all things tech. Okay. Then outsourced all things appointment setting, like the time consuming things. When you're outsourcing, there is one thing to think about, not just your strength, but one thing to think about is 80% of your income coming from 20% of your energy. Like that's how it should be split. And if you find that you are spending way too much energy on one particular thing and it's prohibiting you from launching, scaling, growing, being happy, then find a way to reduce your time in there. Okay? The other part about doing everything yourself is not utilizing a network. Small hinges swing big doors. They really, really do. And there are so many, many, many ways that matter. I got on a call just before I got on live with you. It wasn't a sales call. It wasn't a pitching call. It wasn't a person I know as a friend. It was just somebody else in a space similar to mine that I could network with, that I spoke to. We had a fantastic, awesome conversation. We're going to be talking again, having a coffee catch up this Saturday. All right. I don't mean spend your entire work time chatting away and making friends. All right. Needs to be a goal. There needs to be a plan, an action plan for you guys to benefit each other in some way. Okay. But don't do it all yourself. And even if they're a direct competitor of yours, it doesn't mean you can't help them out, because then they will do the same to you. All right. Other part about small hinges, swing big doors is one of the strategies that I teach my agency owners that come through here. And I call it small hinges, swing big doors. Who is also serving your audience that's not a direct competitor? And how can you leverage the hard work that they've done for your business? So one of the way that agency owners could use this would be, who is selling to your current clients, right? Are they chiropractors? Because if they're chiropractors, then they have massive groups of chiropractors buy sell equipment, all right? If they are holistic practitioners, they've been through a course, a program somewhere that taught them how to do their fulfillment part, but not the client acquisition or the sales part, right? So can you then catch up with the people that are running that course and see if there's a way that you can complement what they're doing, add to it with a lead magnet, a training, whatever it is, an affiliate program, a referral program, but you're using somebody else's hard work to swing your big door. All right, so that's just a couple of the ways that I would use this, but don't try and do everything yourself. It's hard. Life's hard enough without it making it harder for ourselves. All right, the last one is not understanding your sales process. There is this message out there. It's so wrong. If somebody is telling you this, turn around and walk away. You don't launch a brand new program or turn on an ad or do anything and get a sale. It's not how it works. All right. There are statistics out there that say on average, only 3% of any audience is ready to buy right now. And even then, you've got to have the right buyer's journey to appeal to that person. Okay, so what is your buyer's journey? It's not just, hey, I've got this cool new thing, come and buy it. Most of the time it's, hey, a lead came in, now I need to nurture that lead. I need to expose them to me. I need to cultivate that relationship so that when they think, all right, I'm ready to take the plunge, I'm the only person in their mind to do it. Okay, you can be doing this with freebies. You're doing this with lead magnets, with groups, with appointment setting. Good appointment setting, with newsletters. There are so many ways that you can be cultivating that relationship, but it's all part of your sales process. And if you don't know your sales pipeline, your sales process, all of those things, please reach out. I've got some free resources that I'm most happy to share with you, because once they're implemented, once you understand your buyer's mindset when they're coming to you, you're not pushing them away by being salesy. You're inviting them in. And your success is going to be so much greater just from that one simple strategy of understanding and knowing how to implement and improve on what you're already doing. All right, so that was my top 5 mistakes that everybody is making when they start an online entrepreneurship. All right, I will be around. John Nelson will be around. He sent me a list of amazing things that he's bringing to you guys over the next month. I'm definitely going to be tuning in for, because I'm more than excited about them. And if you guys aren't already, go ahead and join John's new group. It is called Boost Services, I believe. I do not have it pulled up on Facebook, but I will share it wherever I have put this. If you guys are in Boost already and you'd like to find out more trainings about me, you can go ahead and follow me on YouTube. Just search Atlas Agency Launch Lab and you'll see some more trainings about me, or Atlas Online Solutions, my other YouTube channel, where you'll see more about me. But until then, this has been really, really good. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, please reach out. No, I'm not just going to try and sell you or say, come and get on a call or whatever. You have to pay me for stuff. If I have it available to you and it makes sense to me to give it to you for free, 100% am I going to give it away for free, because networking, friendship, and relationships is what online entrepreneurship is all about. All right, guys, I'll see you guys around.